If you're not aware, Mark's story starts in his own home when he was growing up and working with his brother who has sustained a neurological injury. And I had the opportunity to work with Mark's brother when we first started the program. So when I came into the Center for Neuroskills, it was brand new. His brother was a part of the program, and that was his passion and his drive to, as a model for what we believed we could do with his brother. Can we begin applying that across the board to people in a similar situation? And it was just that level of energy and excitement, because there weren't very many programs in 1980. There was maybe less than a handful. So we were pioneers in that sense, believing that this was important work and that these people deserve this opportunity.
When he first came to this field, there were people trying to make things better for patients with brain injuries, but there was no path. There was no way. That way had to be built, and it had to be constructed. And Mark really looked at the situation and said, what can we do? Because we're gonna have to do something. So finding a way is just part of the DNA of Center for Neuroskills and of Mark.
When we started, the brain was just a black box. Rehabilitation was not understood. There was no convincing data that when you did therapy, people improved.
I think Mark's goal has been to find something that will make a significant difference in brain injury recovery.
My son had a severe brain injury wrestling. The neurologist at the time had told us that he thought the effects would wear off. It's like, no, this is a different kid than it was just yesterday. I get a phone call from this guy I don't know. His name's Mark Ashley. He started asking us and answering questions and explaining this stuff, what was going on with Jim, when this neurologist that was in the ICU with us wasn't telling us. And he says, I want to help your son.
Mark put transitional and residential rehabilitation programs for people with disabilities on the map. The fact that there are residential and transitional brain injury treatment programs that are routinely recognized today as necessary, medically necessary, and critically important care for people with brain injuries is a lasting legacy of Mark.
Not all rehabilitations, not all neurologists are the same. You got to find something that fits you and fits what you're looking for. So they design, what Mark Ashley did, which is different than any other place you go to, is they didn't just put, hey, this is our program that we're going to put everybody through. They designed a program specifically for Jim, and they did that with every one of their patients there too.
I've watched his influence. I watched policy change as an advocate for those who are in need to get care for insurance. I watched him fight time and again, and it's just that personal story of why he went to study from medicine this way. His personal challenges happened to his family, but I watched him make a fundamental difference.
In the role as chairman of our policy committee, he worked closely with Peter Thomas and BIAA staff, as well as his colleagues across the country, to ensure that rehabilitation was included as one of 10 essential health benefits in the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. It's the reason that people have access to rehab today.
But also what he's done with the Brain Injury Association of America, being the chairman years back and being part of the board, contributing financially to the success of the organization, his thought leadership, and to be able to have his voice really cascade throughout the nation has been really powerful.
Without Mark's strong influence, the Brain Injury Association, again, would be in a different situation. And we wouldn't have the organization that we have now.
But it's because his vision is extraordinary, because he sees the possibilities, because he can calculate the path forward, and because he believes in you and that you can get it done.
Mark is a person that doesn't just give a year as president and move on. I mean, he continues to be involved, and he continues to be a leader throughout his career. He has devoted untold numbers of hours to advocating for people with brain injury and the providers who serve them, of course. But with Mark, it hasn't stopped there. It's not only with the business or the Brain Injury Association,
it's also with research. He is an innovative person, and he cares deeply about this space, people with brain injuries, and contributing to the body of knowledge.
It was, one, hard to see that your son's about ready to enter this hard process of regaining his function. But every day we saw progress, and it was all because of the leadership of Mark Ashley, because of his passion for what happened to his brother that brought him into this world that's changing families all across the world.
He has influenced the trajectory of patients' recoveries whom he's never met and who his organization has never touched.
Mark Ashley has made a permanent, positive impact on millions of people with brain injury and their families through his research, his clinical work, and his advocacy. And there are families all over the country who have benefited from his efforts.
We could not do what we're doing now in this organization if it weren't for Mark Ashley and others who had laid the foundation for all of us in the current state, but also all of us in the future state.
When people say to me, Mark, you've accomplished so much, I say, no, I didn't. We did. It was 45 or 50 years of an incredible number of people, both who worked at CNS and who worked at the Brain Injury Association, who worked in Washington, who worked at the state affiliates, most of whom worked in such earnest and toward a goal of bettering life for people with brain injuries. I was just a part of that.
I've said that this really is a calling. And it starts with Mark. And I always said, I have found where I belong because of him. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't had the opportunity to do that. And, when you see the change that you're able to make in people's lives, it keeps you going.